Hello, class. How are you doing?
Hi, good morning, Dr. Glenn.
So, how was the weekend? It's Monday morning and it's time to get down to, doing academic work and for us to work together. We're going to spend a
Uh-huh.
little bit of time doing some talking about jobs and careers and what you want to do as uh, you get older. Okay, Deb.
Aren't we kind of young to be talking about that? Because we're only in middle school.
That's a good question. Because yeah, you're right. It's going to be a few years before you do have to worry about whether or not you're going to be, I mean, truly worry about whether or not you're going on post high school, what you're going to do. Are you going to go to college? Are you going to start do vocational training? Are you going to go to right into a job somewhere for a while? There's all sorts of different options. We're starting with you now because it's you can spend some time thinking about it and creating, and also it always helped me when I finally started thinking about the kinds of jobs I may want to have. I appreciated my classes I was taking a little bit better. Like when I thought about being a teacher, my English classes felt more important because we were learning to do public speaking and things like that down the road. So you can begin to I don't know, it just made me enjoy my classes a little bit because they meant something. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've definitely thought about a job. I just didn't think I'd have to be making those decisions anytime soon, I guess.
Oh, you don't have to make a decision soon.
Yeah,
No.
that's really good for me too, because my brain is like, one week I want to be one thing, and then the next week I've thought about something totally different, and it's hard to kind of focus on one.
Even to be honest with you, that was most of my life, I think. Just thinking, oh, this would be an entertaining kind of job to do and moving on to something different.
You
The one thing I learned, it was nice to have lots of options available to us.
you
So,
mean you changed your mind too?
oh, I've been working for 44 years. Think about that for a second.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. That's a long time. A
Yeah.
long time. A very long time. And I've done a number of different things during that period of time. When I was your age, I was thinking about, I'd like to earn some pocket change. So I guess what I did, I babysat for my neighbors,
Oh,
you know,
yeah. Some
that
of
was
my
a job.
some of my friends do that.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a great job to start with. It was responsibility. And there was somebody who could talk to the next employer when I applied for what I call a regular job. I worked for a fast food restaurant in high school. That was my next job. And then I worked in the library when I was in college. And then I became a counselor working with kids like you. And now I'm a professor, getting to have even more fun with you. So, Jasmine, what's up? Taking notes?
Oh, yeah, I was just kind of like writing down some stuff about like the career that I was thinking about.
Can you tell me a little bit about what that might be?
Um, yeah, so I don't know if it's a thing or not, but like I was thinking about like a lawyer, but like for the environment, if that makes sense.
So you're very concerned about what's going on in our environment, the changes in climate, all of the
Well,
recommendations that are being made. Is that what it is?
I mean, somebody has to be, and I just think somebody has to stick up for the planet because if you remember when BP got in trouble for that oil spill, like they didn't really have to do anything to make up for that. And I just don't think that's right, and I think somebody should advocate on behalf of the environment. So like, why not me?
That's quite an interesting start to the discussion. That really is very that would have a huge impact on our world. If you Do you know what it means to be a lawyer?
So that's like one of the questions I have is that I don't know if I really need to do that or if I really, because I've heard that law school is very long and very expensive.
Yes, maybe worthwhile for us to have you talk to some people who do that kind of work. How about that? That could be
That
some of what we do together over the next few weeks. Is we bring in people who can talk about their jobs and what they do and what it meant and how to get there, targeting exactly what you're interested in. Ethan?
Can you bring in a firefighter? Because that was what I wanted to be last week, and you know, just while it's fresh, it would be just great to meet one.
I I'll work on that one. What is it about being a firefighter you think you want to, why do you want to be a firefighter?
They're just they're just really brave, and they don't have any fear, and everybody likes a fireman.
That's true. They do. They do. They have a very dangerous job though.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that.
Savannah, you wouldn't want to be in that kind of danger all the time.
No, I kind of, well, you know how I like volleyball a lot,
Hmm.
but I just don't really think I could do it for real. I think it might be smarter for me to do like sports medicine.
Okay. What do you know about sports medicine? What made you choose that one?
Not a I don't know a lot about it. I just know that it would still be like close to volleyball,
Uh,
but I have a better chance of doing it, I think.
you could work with volleyball teams, sports medicine, and there's, in the world of sports medicine, there's more than just doctors. So there's a whole world of people who are working in that we can explore together. See what I mean? You begin
Yeah,
to see why it's important to start early about all of this, because there's so many things out there you can do.
there's a
And
lot of options.
exactly, exactly. Um, Deb, how about you?
Oh, yeah, so can I tell you what I want I'm thinking about, and then I have a question?
Sure.
So the thing that I'm thinking about for a career would be like a music producer, kind of, because
Hmm.
what I basically want to have is my own record label one day to uh kind of find the bands and the sound that I like, and then like give those people a platform.
Well, Deb, that's quite the challenging job that you're thinking about. Do you have a particular kind of music that you like the
You
most?
know, it's kind of hard to nail down. People say that I'm kind of eclectic because I listen to a lot of different stuff, and I think it's important to listen to a lot of different stuff so that you people call it like having a good ear for the music, and it's just important to listen to a lot of music, and I already do that, so it just seems like it would make sense. Um,
I
but oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, it's interesting how much y'all have already started thinking about what you want to do, and where you're starting with the things that you're interested in. And then we have to then look at what are your strengths as they relate to those occupations, and what might that look like for you. Being a music producer, that's a huge responsibility, and it's great. It really is. And there's a lot of ways to start out in that field. Okay. Yeah, you had a question too. What was your question?
Yeah, I was going to ask if you think everybody has to go to college to get a good job, because I've heard that you do, but I've also heard people say that you don't really have to.
That's one of those, you're asking a professor who went all the way through to get a doctorate. Okay. And I'll give you an example of why have a very balanced perspective of this. My brother is a couple years younger than I am. And he went to college for about a semester. Wasn't his thing. This wasn't his thing. Sitting behind a desk was not his thing. So the occupation, the job that he chose, he was a deep sea diver. Yeah, so he liked sort of like Ethan's, like, interested in a little danger. He loved the thrill of all of that. So
Yeah, he kind
he
of reminds me of me. He doesn't like a desk. He doesn't, I sympathize with that.
well, he actually ended up creating his own company as he got older, and he told me not too long ago, he said, I became a diver so I didn't have to sit behind a desk, and that's what I'm doing now. Because he's 60 years old, and he just decided to go down and dive again at one of the dams that his company works on. So I say that, Deb, when you ask that question, my brother makes a lot more money than I do, but we're both doing what we love. We're both happy, healthy, have great careers because we managed to find what we really, really enjoyed. And for siblings, he's my brother. We're very different in the routes we took. And they both have worked. So no, you don't have to go to college to do something that's very challenging, but you have to, if you do decide on a path, you kind of have to find out, do you need a degree? Do you need a license? Do you need certificates, whatever? Savannah?
Yeah, you're basically saying that it depends. It depends on what you want.
Yeah, and unfortunately, for a lot of times, people have spent a lot of time in college and they weren't happy, but they felt like they had to complete it and do it. And school is expensive. Vocational training is a great thing. Like I said, my brother actually he went to the Florida Institute of Technology, had a deep sea diving program, and that's what he went to. That was his training, and so he actually did go to a college. It just was more of a vocational orientation than it was an academic orientation. Nate, what about you?
Florida is also where my space camp is,
Mhm.
where I went to space camp, and I want to be I want to work for NASA, but I don't know if I want to be an astronaut or an engineer yet.
Okay, so you've got a couple of choices that they're different. They're almost like as different as my brother's and I's choices, because I mean, you have to go to college for either one of them, but one of them has a little bit more danger. There's a little bit more Ethan in it, and then the other one has a little, bit more of Jasmine in it, where school is something that's part of that plan. So a lot of school is part of that plan, but and engineering is a very interesting occupation. So see, you're all interested. You are young. Yes, what, 14, 13, 14 right now, right?
Yeah.
So this is the best time to start because you have time. And you can try out different kinds of entry-level jobs. You could start building your experience. We'll bring in people to talk to you, but we'll also find in the next couple of years, during the next couple of years, have giving you work experiences so that you can, you can learn what it's like to maybe, Ethan, you want to be a fireman. Well, the firemen have to deal with the public a lot. So, having a job where you have to interact in maybe in a restaurant or something like that, where you have to learn to talk to people a lot, and might be a good one.
Yeah,
Eight
that could be useful.
Yeah. So in Savannah, you may want to do something in a hospital so that you kind of get around the idea of what different kinds of jobs there are in medicine, but you do something very beginning, like I did. I babysat and I worked in a fast food restaurant. That was my beginning. But I learned so much during that about what I wanted to do and what I didn't want to do. So that's what we're here all about to do. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me.